對於馬來西亞其實個感覺係幾好嘅，咁所以我都想了解多啲，即係叫到自己係多個選擇啊，或者係俾自己一個安全感咯。
是檳城咧，我頭先聽阿鄺生講咧，都會係一個華人同埋廣東話嘅 community 咧，係幾 dominant 嘅，我都覺得都幾適合咯。雖然我而家未決定嘅，咁不過我相信我會揾MM2H Club 咧，去再 further 去幫我去做一啲決定安排嘅。
咁馬來西亞個環境唔錯啦，咁個入場門檻亦都比較低咯。
喺嗰邊消費咧，係好輕鬆，同埋我哋都準備喺香港買一層樓咧，喺嗰邊係唔使供樓，同埋唔使俾管理費嘅，係好平，即係各方面嘅消費啊、食嘢啊，各方面都係好好。
天氣方面啦，即係冇咁多天災啊嗰啲咁樣啦，同埋都好近我哋香港嗰個生活習慣咯。即係嗰個模式都會好近咯。即係如果你話吉隆坡嘅話，咁可能檳城就會相對又會休閒啲咁樣。
咁馬來西亞就資源比較豐富啦。咁我覺得如果真係有發展嘅話，應該有啲實在啲嘅資源去 support 下。
解多咗唔同區域，同埋佢而家其實都 show 咗好多樓盤出咗嚟，係唔同地區㗎嘛，咁所以都了解多咗嘅比之前。
因為我哋有朋友係馬來西亞人咯，咁佢都話做完嘢退休都係返馬來西亞住，咁我哋都聽見都想了解下。我 book 咗機票，下個禮拜會去睇睇。
Okay, hi everyone. Tonight's webinar we conducted in English. Okay, Amanda, 我睇到你嘅嗰個要求係希望今日用廣東話嚟講解，但係咧因為今日咧我哋嘅嗰個呢個 Cabinet 嘅 meeting 咧仲未有公告關於第二家園呢個計劃，所以如果我繼續用廣東話嚟講咧，其實都同之前講嘅差唔多一樣，90%一樣嘅嚇。所以如果你覺得今日嘅呢個講座對你唔係咁大幫助咧，其實你唔需要一定要參加今晚嘅呢個講座嘅嚇。So tonight will definitely be in English. I was just explaining to those who prefer to listen in Cantonese to actually know that it will be more of a repeat of the last webinar that we have done. Okay, that was back in the early April and also last Thursday. I think it was 15th of April. Okay, so the first thing I would like to actually share is that you can watch our these live sessions at both the YouTube channel and our Facebook. Okay, so you can actually just type in these links and you should reach here. So if you find that the Facebook quality is not that good, just change it to YouTube. Or if you feel that YouTube is not that good, change it to this Facebook. The Facebook does not require any this login to actually to view the live sessions. Okay, so hi Elizabeth. Yes, Elizabeth, tonight's sessions will be in English. Okay, so so for the past two sessions is in Mandarin. Okay, let me start. The agenda for tonight's webinar will be similarly in three parts. The latest development of MM2H, the Kpmg report, in my opinion, okay, because it's not really the actual report. It's actually what I understand from the consultations and what I understand from different stakeholders, and also the questions being asked by Kpmg as well. Okay, so before we go deeper, I just want to show that why we are confident, why we previously actually, what do you call that, feel that this week there will be this month there will be a announcement about MM2H policies. Okay, first of all, I would like to actually show this first. Okay, this news is actually on 6th of April. Okay, usually when there's a new policy, which this one they are going to, there was an announcement that there is a review on policies and foreign investment strategy. to expedite project implementations. And this is called the National Investment Aspirations. Actually, it was scheduled for the meeting on 21st of April. Okay, so subsequently, okay, in 2 days ago, there was a meeting. Okay, then the meeting actually resulted in an announcement. Okay, so the announcement will be this one. Okay, so there is actually a press release by the Ministry of International Trade and Industry, exactly Thursday, which is yesterday. So the meeting by the cabinet was on Wednesday. Actually, in the Chinese newspaper on Tuesday, our senior minister of International Trade and Industry actually mentioned that on Tuesday that the cabinet meeting will actually discuss about this national investment aspirations. Okay, and it was approved by the cabinet. The press release was given on Wednesday night, and on Thursday it was in the press already. Okay, so this is a reason why we feel that there is a very good chance in this month we will have an announcement by the government on the Malaysia My Second Home program. I'll show why it's the case in a short while. Okay. Back in 2020, we regularly have webinars in Facebook. Okay, on 12th and 19th of December, as well as the 2nd of January, we actually have a series of the review of MM2H program in 2020 and what we feel that it will happen in 2021. So on that time, back in December, we have make our opinion that the West Malaysia MM2H will be reactivated. Okay, there's a space here. That's estimated to be March or April. March has gone. It's gone now. April is now. After vaccination are in effect. So, of course, our vaccination is not as fast as we wish. But, of course, it's still in progress. And we are going to stage 2 fairly soon in stage 3. And hopefully in June or July, the vaccination program in Malaysia will be on track to vaccinate maybe 70% of the population by the 4th quarter of this year. Okay, so when that happens, naturally the government would like to open up the international borders more, to have more international investors or to have more economic activities that's generated by the international visitors. Okay, so this was how do we know that? How do we actually speculate that it's March or April? Because we are constantly in consultation with various stakeholders, including consulates, including Tourism Malaysia and immigrations. Okay, so we have received some this news from some stakeholders that is a plan. Okay, but any plan can be delayed or any plan can change as well. Okay. All right, so back in late March, there was a few news that I'm sure that if you are follow track, you are always following the news of Malaysia My Second Home, you will notice that in the Facebook of our Minister of Tourism and Arts and Culture, she has actually announced that there was a presentation by Kpmg on their recommendation on how MM2H should be improved. Okay, so there was a Malay paper which has an exclusive interview with our minister, and inside there it mentioned a lot of things, but the gist of it is mainly also published in overseas newspapers such as the one in the Standards in Hong Kong. This news was published, I think, on 13th of April. That was about 10 days ago. So inside there, what is mentioned is that the Immigration Department of Malaysia looks at Malaysia My Second program from the perspective of national security. But the Ministry of Tourism pays more attention to income and will adhere to the principle of generating income through foreigners immigration to stimulate the economy. Okay, the KPMG report suggested Malaysia My Second Home program should launch two new plans, including a retirement program and a residence by investment scheme. In my opinion, I think it's not exactly two new plans, it's going towards two directions. One for retirees and another one as a residence by investment scheme, which may offer even more incentive or a bigger, a higher level of residency as compared to the current level of Malaysia My Second Home. Okay, so we expect an official announcement of MM2H after the decision by Cabinet in April. Okay, so far in April, we have gone through 3 Cabinet meetings, and the 4th one is on 28th of April. And one of the issues to be discussed on that day is actually on this Ministry of Transport's proposals on the international submarines, how they can actually access the Malaysian's sea, okay, Malaysian's territory. So that was in the news as well. But at the moment, we are very anxiously waiting for this announcement. In fact, this morning, I was just off the phone with the director of MM2H in immigrations, because at the moment it's actually the Ramadan period, of which everyone has to fast. So I just, of course, thank her for the support, as well as ask her any announcements or when can we expect an announcement. So far, the official answers, if you are asking any stakeholders, be it from the immigrations or from Ministry of Tourism and Art and Culture, the answer will always be wait for the announcement by the minister. The minister can only make the announcement after the decision by the cabinet is made. And usually, if there's no what do you call that, additional comments by other members of the parliament, okay, or by the stakeholders involved in Malaysia My Second Home program, an announcement will be made if the KPMG proposal was accepted. Okay, but if there's additional issues to be looked into, for example, national security to be further enhanced, then there is a chance this program may require a slightly longer tinkering. Then only the cabinet will make a decision on that. Okay, so we are still anxiously waiting whether next week we'll have an announcement on this Malaysia My Second Home program. So the timeline of reactivation of Malaysia My Second Home, back in January, actually KPMG hosted a consultation sessions among stakeholders of Malaysia My Second Home participants, Malaysia My Second Home applicants, as well as agents, okay, and to understand what are the main concerns, what are the wish lists by all the stakeholders. Subsequently, in February, actually, they even had the consultation with Sabah and Sabah's government, Sabah's immigrations, tourism, as well as Sarawak and consulates. So everyone was consulted to gather the views together. So on 28th of February, the KPMG submitted the report. Initially, this report, I was told that potentially it's supposed to be given a longer timeline until June, but it was expedited to February. Okay, so there is a will and the intention to fast track reactivations of Malaysia My Second Home program, but it depends on all the stakeholders whether everyone is comfortable enough in the current form. So on 16th of March, the presentation of KPMG report was made to KDN. KDN is actually abbreviations of Home Ministry of Malaysia, okay, in Malay. MOTAC means the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, Art and Culture, and JIN means the Immigration Department. Okay, so I have the short form here because I don't think I have enough space to write everything in. On 24th and 25th, actually, there was a meeting there were a few meetings between Immigration Malaysia and the stakeholders with FIAPCs and MM2H associations. So we are constantly being briefed on the progress on these issues. Okay, so in April, MM2H report now is actually in the hands of the cabinets. Okay, so an official announcement on MM2H is supposed to be announced in April, but provided there are no amendments or there are no comments by the stakeholders involved. But what I understand is that national security is always the biggest concern at this stage. Okay, so who are the review and approval authorities? Since 2018, what you see here is actually the approving committees of Malaysia My Second Home. Okay, so it's a committee that was co-chaired by the Deputy Secretary General of Ministry of Tourism, as well as Deputy Director General of Immigration. So they are co-chairs. In the committee, there are a representative from the Ministry of Home Affairs, okay, which is the Immigration Affairs divisions, which are mainly in policy making. Then there are Visa Pass and Permit divisions, Operation Investigation units, Intelligence, Security and Passport divisions, and the special branch of Royal Malaysia. So in these few areas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the main concern is always on national security. And MM2H immigration unit is under the Visa Pass and Permit divisions, which formerly is part of the MM2H Center in Ministry of Tourism and Art and Culture. But back in August last year, they actually was moved back into to Visa Pass and Permit divisions in the immigration headquarters in Putrajaya. All the files of previous MM2H applicants or participants are actually moved from the storage area into immigration departments. Okay, so in 2019 and 2020, usually almost every month there was a meeting among the committees, which are chaired by co-chaired by these two gentlemen. Okay, all the files will be prepared by MM2H Center, okay, which is also the secretariat, which is also where all the applications were submitted. Then after the processing, it will be brought to the committee meeting. Okay, so when your application show that it's pending committee approval, is pending this committee's approval. So how long does it take? It depends on when you submit it and how many application backlog were there. Back in 2019, 2018, there was a time that there was quite a fair bit of backlog. So sometimes the application will take about 9 months, 6 to 9 months to get the approval. And by the end of 2019, it's even longer because of the explosive growth in certain markets for Malaysia My Second Home program. So in each time, those files are brought into this meeting, it runs into the thousands. Okay, more than 1,000 in my understanding. So when there's no objection by the committee, okay, the applications will be recommended for approval by the to the Minister of Home Affairs Malaysia. Okay, previously, before 2018, it was not under the Minister of Home Affairs. Okay, it was directly under tourism in a multi-agencies committee, and the chair was under Ministry of Tourism. So in 2018, there was already a change under Ministry of Home Affairs, which because national security issues. When Minister of Home Affairs signed off on the recommendations, it will be passed to the MM2H immigration unit for issuance of approval letters. Okay, once the approval letter is issued, that means you are approved, and you'll be given a period of 6 months to actually report to Malaysia to complete the procedures of fixed deposits, a medical checkup, as well as to prove that you have a valid medical insurance in Malaysia in order to get the Malaysia My Second Home visa. Okay, and the duration of the visa issued will depend on the validity of your the validity period of your passport. If your passport is 10 years, then you can get the full 10 years. But if it's 5 years, after you change for another new passport after 5 years, then there's another step required to renew the MM2H visa into your new passport for another 5 years. Okay. So let me continue on this. On Malaysia My Second Home program, a lot of people not aware that this program actually has 3 jurisdictions, 3 immigrations that's handling it. In West Malaysia, which are most of the people are applying through that, Sabah and Sarawak. Okay, in West Malaysia, these those applicants that got the visa in Putrajaya can stay in Malaysia for the 10 years period unrestricted. But if you enter Sabah or Sarawak, you'll be given a visa on arrival of 30 days. Okay, but if you got it from Sabah or Sarawak, besides able to stay in Sabah or Sarawak, depending on which immigration you got it from, for up to 10 years unrestricted, you are also able to stay in West Malaysia unrestricted. Okay, but if the chance you get it from Sabah, you like to travel to Sarawak, then you will need to actually get a visa on arrival for 30 days, and vice versa if Sarawak MM2H visits Sabah. So MM2H Club is the only agency that covers all 3 locations. Okay, so what will be the new direction of MM2H in the context of West Malaysia? As per the Kpmg report rightly points out, it will be in 2 directions. 1, in the retirement program. 2, residence by investments. Okay, so on East Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak will be affected by the Kpmg review. Not exactly. Sarawak has already done the review and they have implemented a new policy in September 2020. So the program will remain unchanged. But for Sabah, they will launch this residence by investment program in 2021. Okay, so let me bring out the news. Sorry. Okay. Okay, let me bring out the news first. All right. The news I would like to share is actually on this the proposals by the Sabahs. Okay, but before I go into that, on Sunny's Tony's this comments, there's no new development as compared to last week. Okay, so when there's a new development, we will be showing it immediately in the live sessions. After all, we have live sessions between Wednesdays and Saturday every week. Except 1st of May, we should have some internal events. Okay, so if you are keen, when we make the announcement, just keep track in our Facebook or YouTube. Okay. Okay, this is the announcement. This is actually the press of Sharada, which is the Dato Chua, okay, which is also in, we have been in constant contact about how second home can be implemented better in Sabah. So his proposal, after consultations or discussion with the chief ministers of Sabah, is to come out with the Sabah My PR scheme, of which a quota will be implemented. Okay, only 10,000 applicants over a 5 years period, which means that every year the maximum applicants allowed will be 2,000 applicants. Okay, so will be approved every year. To qualify, basically you definitely have to be a high net worth individual, which has at least $1 million US, because you need to invest 4 million ringgit, okay, which is about US dollars 980,000. Okay, it's not 750,000. But out of it, 300,000, 3 million ringgit, which is about 750,000 US dollars, will be invested in a bond issued by Sabah Development Bank. What I was told, a bit different from the press, is that this scheme, there are two parts. One part is targeting the high net worth individuals. The other part is to target the professionals. Okay, of which the professionals, if you are in the qualified professions, you can come to Sabah and enjoy the benefits of investing in 600,000 property, and as long as there is one local guarantor. Okay, so there are two schemes actually running parallel. One is more of a technical immigrations. The other part is retirement by investments. I mean, these are residency by investments. Okay, so, but I'm not sure whether it's still the same. Okay, it depends on how the economic planning units in Sabah actually would like to actually implement the scheme. Because after the discussion between the private sectors and the leadership of Sabah state governments, now is in the hands of the civil servant to come out with the details of the policies. Okay, so what I will be the reason why I show this is because this is the only so-called public announcements on the proposal on RBI program in Malaysia at this stage. Okay, and we see that there's a reason why this program was proposed that way. In a short while, I'll explain, because there are some precedents or some other countries which has implemented similar scheme previously. So that is what we will be reference on in coming up with our own opinion on how the West Malaysia may be influenced on. Okay, for MM2H program, mainly it's an investment program for the Malaysian government to attract more investors. Okay, so through the MM2H program, Malaysian government will get more investors coming to Malaysia to stimulate the economy. So the current Kpmg report, what are the criteria they will consider? In our opinion, or based on our research, they will compare against other nations, and they will actually mainly look into the economic benefits of the program, or how to improve the economic benefits of the program. Then for national security, it will be a concern by the government as well. So of course, the review will look into it at the same time. Okay, on other nations, this is where the directions of retirement program or the RBI will be looked into. We mainly compare against Thailand, Quebec, Portugal, Panama, and Philippines. Why these countries? Malaysia My Second Home program all the while has been considered to be one of the most successful golden visa program. Okay, what is golden visa? And what is residence by investments? It's actually the terms or the jargon used by the migration industries, of which golden visa usually refers to a long-term visa that allows you to stay in the country for a standard period. Okay, in Malaysian context, it's a renewable long stay visa that's to be renewed every 10 years. A residence by investment usually will give you a permanent residency. Okay, so PR, green cards. Okay, so for example, in Singapore or Australia or Canada, there are green cards program. Okay, you used to have one in Quebec, of which you only buy government trust or bond, which bear no interest. That means it gives zero interest. And previously, you are even allowed to take up a loan on the bond itself. So in the final few years, I heard that, but I understand that the financing of the bond was prohibited. But Quebec had such a program, it was very successful. Portugal has a golden visa program, okay, of which it's not giving a permanent residency straight away. It's giving a 5 years long-term stay, of which is renewed 1 + 2 + 2. And the requirement is an amount of investment. I think it's about 50 million euro, if I'm correct. Okay, so that is how the Golden Visa program in Portugal works. Panama has a retirement program. The requirement is 1,000 US dollars pension per month. Okay, just prove that you have this pension remitting into the account every month. Then you are qualified for this program. And Philippines has a retirement program as well. Okay, it's more of a, after referencing what Malaysia My Second Home program is, they come out with a similar program. But Thailand has also a program is considered to be a golden visa, but it's a bit different. Okay, so in Thailand program, they are actually more of a membership scheme that comes as a package with certain commercial program. For example, fast track channel in the immigrations or the airports of international airports of Thailand, spa, limousines, all these things. Okay, and also some package with the real estate. In my understanding, the Kpmg report actually referenced the Thailand program and the Canadian program the most. Okay, in my understanding. So there is a chance that the retirement program may be modeled based on what the Thailand program can do better in, and the residence by investment program will refer to Canada and other countries which may have a similar programs. So you can see that why our government actually consider how Thai elite visa works. Because of the exponential growth, okay, and because of how this system works to bring the revenue to the countries and to bring the revenue to the government at the same time. So this is actually members, 152 members up to 2,674 members. Out of this, the top countries applying for that is actually still China. Number 2, number 3, number 4, one of it is America, Britain, and I have the statistics, okay? But we'll be explaining more about the Thai elite program in a suitable time, late February, April, and early May. Okay, so we'll be giving such a presentation on how the Thai elite visa works. Okay, then you can see that it grew very fast, but of course it's still not as big as the program of Malaysia My Second Home, because 2,674 members may be equivalent to only about 900 families. Okay, in Malaysia's My Second Home context, because Malaysia My Second Home, one application is one family. And based on our own statistics, each family consists of, on average, about 3 members in the family. Okay, some are couples, some are singles, but some with children, 1, 2, or even more. So Quebec, IIP, was continued until 2018 and is currently under review as well. Every year, there are 3,000 to 5,000 applications and visa issued, but it was received in a very short period because it was overwhelmed. So once the quota reached, then the program was closed until the next year. So that was the case, and actually that's the demand outstripped the supply or the quota. So for this, they implemented the quota, okay, in order to make sure that the government has the resources and to make sure that all these applicants can actually fulfill the conditions by the Canadian government. But of course, after 2018, they also found out that they are actually abused by the stakeholders. There are some applicants who are not qualified who applied for the program and actually got it. Okay. Then, David, I'll get back to you in a short while. I'll just go through very quickly on this, the background information. Then I'll start to answer some of the questions. Okay, and the Portugal Golden Visa program has the main applicants and the dependents. Okay, so in 2020, It's actually about 3,000. It's about 1,000 families who actually apply for the Golden Visa program. So it's actually quite on par with what this Thai elite program is getting as well. So this the retirement program of Panama is even smaller in terms of the numbers. Mainly, it has attracted the North American and the Southern Americans people to retire there. Okay, it's quite a basic program. After all, Panama is not a very big country, so most of the people join it through retirement because you just need to prove that you have a pension, a regular pension, a monthly pensions that's more than $1,000. So what are the criteria considered by Kpmg? First of all, the financial resources. These I mean the financial resources that the government has to put in to run this program, or the financial resources that can be generated out from this program. One good thing about the Thai elite visa is that it actually brings income into the coffers of the government, and it can actually the government do not need to request, the department does not need to request for additional budget on a yearly basis. That was what happened in Malaysia My Second Home program. Okay, that's the sustainability of the program. So when you have a sustainable income, the more the applicants, the more income the government can get, and they can actually expand the team to handle it, and they can actually have more stakeholders, more commercial private sectors to get involved into this program. And the economic return will be even greater, the so-called snowballing effect. But of course, national security is the most important thing, and it will require investment in national security as well to make it better. Okay, especially in this age of AI and this internet cloud technology. And the investors, I was going into that in a short while, but let me show you another slide first, because just now I forgot to show you this. This is what the statistics of Malaysia. Okay. Okay, let me bring out this. I hope everyone can see this. This is actually the what do you call that? The total applications approved every year since inception in 2002. Okay, so you can see that for start, China was not that great, but since 2010 onwards, it actually increased more and more. Okay, so until the stage where it became the largest country. Japan at one stage was high, then South Korea went up, and Hong Kong shot up. Okay, so in 2019 and 2020, we only have the estimated submission by countries. We have the total number of cases in 2020. So based on my understanding, I make an estimate on Hong Kong and South Korea. I believe Hong Kong is number 2 now as compared to South Korea. Okay, so this is the statistics up until June, end of June 2020. Okay. All right. Then David, this is understand that the Sarawaks at the moment they are still processing on this what they call that the January and the February batch, but I understand that this what they call this what they call in terms of the Sarawak program, they are actually also affected by the COVID. Okay, the COVID situation in Sarawak is now extremely high. There are about 700 cases today, so a lot of activities were stopped, including the Ministry of Tourism's meeting supposed to get a lot of the approval signed. So this one, we are still following up very closely with them. We have actually samples of the approval letter that was issued, as well as the visas. So if you're keen to know, this program is still ongoing. Okay, it's never been stopped. in Sarawak. Okay, let me bring this. Okay, now I'll come back to this program. Okay, among the investors, the reason why they are asking for the stakeholders is to, our opinion for the stakeholders is to know why Malaysia My Second Home attracts so many investors into Malaysia previously. The attractiveness of the program is very important. We want a competitive program, not one that is totally changed, that lost the competitiveness of the Malaysia My Second Home program. Of course, we also want to understand the financial capability of each applicant, the intention. If you are a retiree, your intention should be very clear cut, which is to come to Malaysia to retire, even if you are coming with your children. Okay, so the more complicated your intention is, that means you are thinking of starting a business, or thinking of whether you can generate some income, all these things, it will complicate the matters a bit more. Okay, but at the same time, the network effect is what we actually brief Kpmg a lot, that they should actually listen more to the existing participants of Malaysia My Second program, because these are the people who will help to get all these what they call this additional applicants to come in. Okay, and finally, the package, the commercial package. Okay, we believe that the government are looking into how actually they can package in different commercial packages from different stakeholders. So in terms of the economy, what we understand that tourism is definitely one of the major area, because the Kpmg report was appointed. The Kpmg was appointed by the Ministry of Tourism to come out with this report. So how you have the tourism players is very important. But FFC, as representing the property sector of Malaysia, also give a lot of input into this new program. Okay, of course, all the while, a lot of people who come to Malaysia, be it for retirement or for investment, always look at property as one of the most popular form of investment. Finance, MM2H previously have put a fixed deposit in the bank, so and as well as to get insurance in Malaysia. So the insurance sectors and these banks actually benefited from this program as well. Healthcare, retirees will need healthcare, and Malaysia has one of the best healthcare tourism in the world. So just as a side note, tomorrow will be the sessions with the Malaysia Healthcare Travel Councils, of which the topic will be on cancer treatments in Malaysia. So if you want to understand more, and Malaysia Healthcare Travel Council will be answering some of the questions about why the retirees in Malaysia, in terms of palliative care, some of the issues that can be that's more relevant to the retirees of Malaysia My Second Home in Malaysia will be, we actually asked MHCC to conduct a review on that. Okay, the other sectors will be, for example, the food and beverage, restaurants, entertainment, all these things, because when you live here, you'll need something to do, some activities, even charity. Okay, so the potential proposal, in our opinion, will be in these few areas. We feel that there will be a quota. Okay, in a sense that there should be a quota in order to actually allow enough number of applicants to be vet through thoroughly by the relevant agencies. Okay, one of the reasons why this review was requested, or even back in 2018, is that there are too many applications that the government agencies may not have enough resources to review every single case to its full check. Okay, that's health insurance. Okay, I think the government should look into implementing a health insurance for M2H participants and integrate it into the Malaysia My Second program. Okay, and the commercial packages such as like what Thailand has done, maybe some spa, some golf packages, some discounts packages for certain category of members. Okay, so these are the few areas I believe they are seriously looking into that. The bond investment is more towards residence by investments program. Okay, so for this part, if you refer to the proposal in Sabah, what is proposed is that it's issued by the Sabah Development Bank, which is a bank owned by the Sabah state government. And in these state governments, they are actually giving good interest. I understand is higher than fixed deposit rates. Okay, so they will be giving good interest on the what they call this the bond issued for the residence by investment participants. And whether or not a higher financial criteria should be in the picture. After all, Malaysia My Second Home program back in 2006 only requires applicant to put 300,000 if you are below 50 years old, or 150,000 if you are above 50 years old as a fixed deposit in Malaysia. But the 150,000 back in 2006 and the 150,000 in 2021, I believe everyone should be aware that the value of that money is no longer the same. Okay, it may have grown twofold or threefold or even more. Okay, so that's part of the reason why a review is conducted. So on the other hand, on the what they call that the security issues, actually there was a video. I mean, there was a new immigration system being introduced last week. Okay, let me show you this system.
More than R1 billion will be spent to replace the archaic Malaysian immigration system, or MyIMMS, which has become increasingly prone to hacking. Home Minister Dato Sri Hamzah Zainuddin said this on Thursday, just days after a syndicate involved in hacking the system was crippled by the MACC and Immigration Department.
Walaupun kita boleh upgrade sistem yang lama, tetapi bila kita menggunakan sistem yang telah digunakan pakai oleh ramai anggota, ramai orang, maka dia mencari loophole yang boleh menyebabkan manipulasi antara orang luar dan juga pegawai-pegawai kita.
3, 2. Hamzah launched the new National Integrated Immigration System on Thursday and said it will be fully developed by 2024. He noted that the new system would have better features and be monitored by a centralized National Immigration Command Center.
Okay, so in terms of the national security, there is a R1 billion program to be launched by the immigrations of Malaysia. What the immigration has always voiced out is that they feel that they could not conduct a very complete check on the personal background of the person, of the applicants. Okay, whether the person involved in any political activities, whether the person has involved in any training that may undermine the national security of Malaysia. Okay, so through this new system, they hope that they can check it very thoroughly. They hope that the address and the latest mobile of anyone to come to Malaysia can be tracked. Okay, so this will actually improve on the security system in Malaysia, the security situation in Malaysia, because MM2H program was previously abused by some parties. Okay, be it from let's say North Korea, which there are news you can check in the news, the North Korean MM2H, which they abuse the program to actually conduct some activities that is for their own national interests, not in the national interest of Malaysia. Okay, spying or other type of activities that is not supposed to be done in Malaysia under Second Home program. Even as in last week, this there was a Chinese nationals who actually traveled interstate and got COVID-19. Okay, and it was found out that she applied it under the official duty in business trip. But the point is, she's under Malaysia My Second Home program, and she's not supposed to work under Malaysia My Second Home program. Yet she can have a business trip. Okay, going there for to conduct business meetings and other things. Okay, so it become very suspicious, and if she's found to be working, there's a good chance that her visa may be cancelled. Okay, so just do what the immigration wants is everyone to actually follow the guideline of Malaysia My Second Home. Okay, and of course they also want to know more about the applicant themselves, the income source, the diplomatic risk, if there's any, or the social burden. We don't want anyone who initially submit that they are financially capable. Then in the end, there was a case by the Japanese who actually have to spend time in the temples seeking charity from this Good Samaritan, and in the end, she was sent back to Japan through the help of the Japanese consulate. So over the years, of course, there are some bad apples, but of course, there are a lot of good things that actually Malaysia My Second Home bring to Malaysia, be it for the Malaysian as well as for the participants themselves. So I believe the government should look equally into both sides, not just one side of the coin. So it's always very, what do you call this? It's very easy to actually overcorrections into the other side. So hopefully there can be a good balance between how this program can bring good to the Malaysia's economy as well as to the Malaysia societies. Okay, I hope that because this is the first time in this month I'm conducting this in English, and sometimes there may be stakeholders who is coming in to view. So I hope that this can be something that the government can consider. Okay. So the core advantage of MM2H remain unchanged. Malaysia is still good for the multicultural, the multiracial, and multi-religion. Okay, so we can withdraw MPF. Okay, it's still allowed in the context of Hong Kong participants. Once you're in this program, you can prove that you have a long-term. You can move out from Hong Kong, and as long as you have a residential address in Malaysia, then you can actually use it as a proof of address. Okay, affordable yet high quality lifestyle. That is what Malaysia is good at for our healthcare, our educations, and the living environment. It's a renewable visa every 10 years. Up to this stage, we are still handling some of the renewal. Okay, so in fact, we have one Taiwanese clients who are with us who are under this program for the last 20 years. Okay, so currently it's under renewal. So the language, of finance system, and the ease of travel, EASE, that means you can use Malaysia as a hub to travel to anywhere in Southeast Asia or even in Asia. We have very good international airports and it's cheap, okay? And we hope that it stays cheap as well. So we shall be giving another update in 20 days time, okay? Because it's a bit difficult to judge when it will happen or any earlier webinars, because we'll be still conducting webinars every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. If perchance next week on Wednesday, the cabinet make a decisions, on Thursday they make an announcement, then on Thursday night we will be making such a updates after the regular sessions of the webinars is completed. Okay, so probably it will start at 10 o'clock at night to run as long as it need to be, or even on Friday. Okay, so this is what we'll be planning to do. But in terms of regular updates, the next one of which we dedicated for MM2H will be in 20 days time. Okay, so okay, this will be more or less what we are going to update. If you need one-on-one consultations in Hong Kong, feel free to give us a call or WhatsApp us in 193-1933, or this what do you call it? Click on this link to actually make appointments in the designated time. Then we will have a dedicated person to attend to your needs. Okay, so at the moment, This will be the update. I will be answering the questions that you may have. Then, okay, let me go back to this page first. Okay, this is a question by Anthony. Previously, people aged below 50 years old are allowed to apply for MM2H. Now we have residence by investment scheme with higher requirement. Does it mean that people under 50 years of age are no longer allowed to apply for MM2H? Not necessarily. Okay, we haven't seen the actual proposal, and the government has not made a decisions on what they will implement for. There are two there are a few possibilities. One is that the retirement program will continue what MM2H is good at. Then the residence by investment will be an upgraded version. That means it's almost like a Portugal visa, like the golden visa will lead to a residence by investment. Okay, so in that case, the residence by investment will have a higher criteria. Okay, previously, when MM2H was started in 2002, before that, this program was known as Silver Hair Program. The Silver Hair Program is targeting just the retirees, and it has an age threshold of 55 years old. Then it was lowered to 50 years old. And then maybe at this age, I don't know, I would like to retire at 45. I don't think I am able to do it anymore. So there's a chance that the retirement age may be changed for higher or lower. Okay, so in this case, we will have to wait for the official announcement, then only we'll know. So the question by Mr. Shiraj, when will MM2H reopen? For West Malaysia side, we are waiting for the official announcement. So basically, what I'd like to say is that for existing MM2H participants, we issued approval letters. You can renew and extend on existing criteria. So basically, when the government announced the latest guideline on MM2H, you are not affected, in my understanding. Other MM2H applicants without the approval letter, or the rejected applicants or applicants pending submissions, you definitely have to wait for the official announcement expected this month. Okay. And there are also questions about BNO and things like that, but today it seems that there are less Hong Kong people. So I understand that I've covered that topic in the first sessions back in April 6th or something like that. Okay, a question by David asking whether am I expecting the fixed deposit income will be increased from 150,000 to 300,000 or more? Is a possibility, but it's a possibility that it may be reduced, or in Thailand to get a 20 years this golden visa, this requirement is not it's only about 200,000 ringgit. Okay, but it's not a fixed deposit, it's more of an investment to the government. It's something that's burnt, okay, to get the 20-year status, but it's not, you still enjoy other perks at the same time. Okay, that's can we use liquid asset in our joint account, as joint account is consist of a husband or wife, or asset can only be shown by main applicant's account? Based on the previous this MM2H programs up until June 2020 in West Malaysia, it is required that the main applicants will have at least 70% of the income. Okay, then the what do you call that? The joint account side, at one stage it was totally all right, but later it was recommended that the main applicant has more joint account, more assets, then only is considered to be qualified. But the new program itself may have a different criteria. So I would suggest that if you are looking purely into Sarawak accept joint account. But if it's West Malaysia, wait for the official announcement. Okay. Cost apply MM2H according per family or per persons. I believe that you still stay as a family. That is the attraction of MM2H. Okay, the government does not feel that they should actually undermine that. So far, I haven't never heard about any issues about bringing dependents into Malaysia. In fact, they're thinking of increasing the number of dependents. Okay, so Mr. Sharin is asking again whether the deposit may be increased. There is a possibility, as I previously mentioned, but there is also a possibility it may be changed into a bond. That means investment into a bond, or this the other side is something like what Thailand is to buy into a membership. Okay, so these are the few areas. Thank you everyone for the questions, and then let me just go back. Oh, there's one more questions here. Currently, you have this Talent Corp Talent Pass. Will it be possible to apply for M2H while still on the RPT, the Talent Corp Pass? You cannot hold two passes at the same time in Malaysia. Okay, so you can only hold one of it. So if you are thinking of getting to M2H, depends on when is the expiry of your Talent Corp Pass. Okay, so this one is better for us to wait for the new guidelines to be in place. Then we'll see whether they will deem those currently under Talent Pass to be a high risk, or which category of Talent Pass holder is considered to be more qualifying for the M2H program. Is it because you're thinking of retirement in Malaysia, or you're thinking that you are trying to get a RBI program? There's a good chance that if you are thinking of RBI program, I believe the government will consider that. Okay, so how long the liquid asset should be in the account in order to qualify and apply for M2H as per existing policies? 3 months is a record the government wants to see, the exact past 3 months. In these 3 months, hopefully that they can see both the income and the liquid assets. But if it's a fixed deposit that you intend to show to the government, that means not the past 3 months of bank statements, we will recommend that you have the fixed deposit for the duration of the applications. So on last count, the application took almost a year. So it'd be safer if you can have a fixed deposit for at least a year, okay, to prove the financial requirements. Okay, so these are the few areas that thank you everyone for joining us. I believe tonight we'll have more English participants, and we'll start to have more English sessions in the future on topics that's relevant for you, especially on Malaysia My Second Home program or other relevant programs. Okay, thank you, Peter. Thank you, Michael. And thank you, everyone. We hope that you enjoy your Friday night. I'll see you tomorrow if you're interested for the medical tourism sessions in Mandarin and Cantonese. See you guys. Bye-bye.